So in today's session, we are looking at how to work with a document in Microsoft Office Word. So to begin with, we are going to create what we call dummy text. The text that we're able to work with in order for us to execute a few tasks here and there in Microsoft Office Word. So to create dummy text, we are writing equal sign, then RAND. After writing that, open the bracket on your computer. After opening the bracket, we're going to type a number. We can type any number, of course, we want. It doesn't matter which number you type. But let's type 150. After typing that number, we are going to put a comma. After putting a comma, we are going to put another number. Okay, this number is going to be small. Maybe let's type 6. So this now what I've typed, in other words, I want some random text. Which random text has 150 paragraphs in total. Then each paragraph on average has 60 lines. That's what I'm going to tell this program to do for me. After doing what I have typed, I guess members are also trying it out from wherever they are. So let's close the bracket. After closing the bracket, we are going to press Enter key on our keyboard. So I'm going to ask members, what do you get after pressing Enter on the keyboard? Let me first hear from the members. Hannah, what have you got? Have you done it?
Yes, I've done it, sir.
Yes, what have you got?
The Lord, let me go to the first page, then I read for you.
Okay, it means you're on track. See, if you have something, that means you're on track. It's okay.
There are very many themes and yes.
Okay, you're on track already, I know. Let me ask if there are people that are lost. Are there people that are lost? If you are lost, please raise up your hand. If you have anything to ask, please raise up your hand. Okay? So now that we are where we are right now, yes, that's what you get. Those that didn't do it, you know, there are those that are just watching. I don't know why they're just watching, okay, without trying out something. So this is what we get on our screen. Okay, so what we want to do, among other things in our document, I want us to have a number of tasks to execute. And these include, first of all, I want us to save our document. That's number 1. Number 2, I want us to protect with a password. Of course, it is still under save. I think let me put it under save. Save with password. That's number 1. Then save as PDF. Number 2, I want us to change the font to, which font should we use? Let's use Bookman, old style. I want us to have font size. Font size should be maybe 12. I want us to have the alignment. Let alignment be justified. Then let's have the spacing as 1.5 line spacing. Line spacing 1.5. Then I want us to insert comments. I want us to insert page numbers. That is mixing, having more than one numbering format, multiple numbering formats in the same documents, okay? Then I want us to have a mix of both landscape and the portrait pages in the same document. Landscape and portrait orientations, okay? Then after doing so, let's create a table of contents that is automatic table of contents, okay? I think let's start with that for now. So by now, I guess we're all able to save the document. So I'll ask members if there is anybody that has issues in saving a document. Please, if you don't know how to save a document, can you raise up your hand? With the password. No one has raised up their hand. Very good.
Me, I don't know how to put password, but I know how to save.
Okay. So, okay. So for us to save a document with the password, first of all, we go to, remember there are so many ways of killing a rat. Okay. We can either use the shortcut on the keyboard, that's Control S. If not so, we can use the save command on the quick access toolbar. If not so, we can as well go to File tab and then choose Save. First of all, we have Save and then Save As. What's the difference between the two? With the Save, you are saving changes, whereas with Save As, you're either saving a document with a different file name in the same location, or you are saving the same document in a different location, okay? That's when we use Save As. Then so if you're saving for the first time, of course, it does not matter whichever option you choose. But if you're just saving changes, then you have to go to save. Okay. So for my case, let me just go with the first option since I'm saving for the first time. Now to create a password in the document, let me first browse for where to save my document. I want to save it on the desktop in a folder called My Files. Okay, so for me to put a password in the document, we look at this Save As dialog box that has popped up on the screen. Okay, we have this option which says Tools just before the Save button at the bottom. So we shall click on Tools, and once we click on Tools, we have General Options, which is the third option in the sub menu that pops up. So we shall click on General Options, like I said. Now it's now prompting us to provide a password that we want. In case you don't have a password to open this document, that means you can't open it. So this is the password we are going to be using to open this document. So let me use my password is going to be class, okay? Remember, this password is case sensitive, whereby capital C is not the same as small c. So they asked me to put password to open. Then we have password to modify. These are two different passwords. Meaning, if you have the password to open, but you don't have the one to modify, you can't change anything in the document. You can only open it and see or read the contents. In other words, I'm making it a read-only document. You must be knowing this second password, meaning these are two completely different passwords. One allows you to open. If you don't have it, you can't open the file. Completely, it can't open at all. Whereas for modification is to change the contents, to edit the document. So I'm not going to put password to modify. Therefore, I'll just click on OK down here. Of course, when I click on OK, it will prompt me to confirm, just like you can see. Okay, because this system wants me to be sure I'm lost on saving with the password. Oh, okay, let me cancel. Somebody said that I should repeat. So I said for us to put a password, we put it while saving the document. So if you know how to save a document, you go through the same steps for saving a document. In this case, I said we go to either save on the quick access toolbar, or you can go to the file menu and look out for save. Or we can even use the keyboard shortcut, which is Control-S. Now that we have the save as screen, we can choose where we want to save our document. I said for my case, I'm going to save on the desktop under this folder called My Files. After getting here, after clicking on the folder where I want to save my document, the server's dialog box is still with me. Okay, so we have tools down here just before the save button on the server's dialog box. So we shall click on tools where you are seeing my cursor here right now at the bottom of the screen. So once you click on tools, a drop down menu will show again. And in this menu, we have network map, network drive, we have save options, we have general options and others. So shall look out for general options, like I said before, and click. After clicking, they're asking you to provide a password to open. So I'll type the password I want to use for opening my document. You can, of course, put any password as long as you're able to remember that password. I already explained about password modify, what it means. Then after putting password to open, I'll click on OK. After clicking on OK, ladies and gentlemen, they're asking me to confirm because the system wants me to be sure. Once I retype this password and it does not match with the previous password, the system will know that, yes, I'm not sure of what I'm doing. Therefore, it will not go ahead and protect my document with a password because it does not want me to be locked out, whereby I can't open the document and I can't access the document. So that's me to confirm the password. Therefore, I'll type the same password I typed. Okay. So on clicking OK, once the passwords don't match, you'll get that message that passwords don't match. So ensure that whenever you are saving this document, you put a password that you are sure of. So let me type my password once again, then click OK. Then they will ask me to confirm. I will confirm like this and click on OK. So now that I am done with putting a password in my document, the next steps, I'm sure you all know them. We just need to type the file name. For example, I can call my document class exercise. Okay. Then after typing the file name, in case you are to save, of course, let me just hint on saving as a PDF. Of course, I'm not going to do it. If I was going to save as a PDF, for example, I would under save as. Of course, it will not put a password while saving in PDF. But if I'm save as a PDF, I will click on save as, type down here, and then look out for PDF like this. So that means if I'm to save this document right now as I speak, it will not be a Word document. It will be a PDF document. With PDF, when we save as PDF is when we don't want people to alter our work. We want to maintain the originality of the document. So for my case, I'm going to go back to Word, which is docx as the file extension. Okay, so this is the format that we want to save our document in. So once I click on save, you can see that now my document has been saved. And if I happen to close this document, like I have done, and I want to open it again, you will see that it will prompt me to provide a password. If I may go to Word and then look out for class exercise on the most used menu on my start screen, on my start menu. So it's going to ask me to provide a password before it can open. So I put my password as class. So once I click on OK, the document will be able to open. Now that I am done with that, I don't know which next task members want me to go through with them. Out of what you are seeing on the screen, what can't you do, members? I want to only pick out what members can't do. So I'm waiting for the members to tell me. You can use the chat and type what you want me to look at out of what I've put on the screen. So let's look at how to change the font of the document. For us to change the font, you select the text that you want to format. So, and I guess by now we are all able to select the text or to highlight the text. However, for my case, I want to apply the same formatting on all the text. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut to select all the text. That is Control-A on the keyboard. So that means everything in this document has been selected. So to change the font, we shall go to Home tab. Then on the Home tab, we have groups such as clipboard, font, paragraph, etc. So we shall go to the font group. Then in the font group, we have this option here, which is font face, okay, or font style. So we shall click under that, shall click in the arrow, and then look out for the font we want. There are so many fonts. So I want Bookman old style. So what I will do, I can either scroll through and look it out and look it up, or I can just search by typing what I want. Bookman, it is B-O-O-K, and so on. Okay, Bookman old style. I expect it to come. I think it's one word. Bookman is one word. So once I click, or once I press enter on the screen, yes, it's here, it's at the bottom here. It has come. Okay, so Bookman is one word, there's no space. That's why it was taking long to come. So you can now see that the font has changed. You know, some people could not have noticed that. But let me select, for example, just this paragraph here and change its font again to something else. For example, if I may set it to Algerian, you can see how it looks like on the screen. Okay. If I set it to any other font, you can see whichever font where I hover my cursor, the appearance of the text changes. Okay. So that's what we mean by font face, the appearance of the text. You can even make it calligraphic to appear as if there's some art in the text. Whichever font you are interested in, you just pick it up and apply it. Now that I'm done changing the font, of course, for the size, you just click after the font face, we have the font size, which you can just look up and set any size you want for the selected text, just like you can see. I think for these members, most members know them. So we are done with changing the font. Now the next task is asking us to align text. Aligning text again, of course, you first select the text you want to select. For my case, I'm selecting everything in my document. When we have 4 types or 4 forms of alignment. That is, we have what called left alignment. With left alignment, you can say that when you look at my margins, the gutters, okay? When you look at the margins, look at the left-hand side of the margin. It is straight. All text is on the same level in the entire document. Whereas since I'm aligning to the left, you can say that the other side, that is right-hand side of the margins, okay? It is zigzag. It doesn't look, it looks very ugly. So that is alignment number 1. Then number 2 is centered. Centered means text whenever I'm typing text, it will start from the center. Then we have right alignment, and then finally justified. Justified, just like you can look at the icon here, it shows that text is well aligned on both sides. So when I click on that, both ends of the margins are of the same size in each paragraph, except the last line in each paragraph. Okay, so that's the difference between the different forms or types of alignment. Then we have line spacing. Line spacing is to do with how much space is in between lines. Do I want my document to be so congested and crowded or not? Do I want to have some space? Of course, it depends on so many factors, including, for example, if I don't want to have so many pages, I can reduce the spacing. Sometimes find it is a requirement. For example, when you are doing research in the university, you are expected, that's in third year when you're doing research, you are expected to use 1.5 line spacing as a requirement from the university guidelines. So for us to change the fonts or the spacing, still we go to the home tab. So the home tab allows us to do all the formattings we want to do in the document. Therefore, we shall go to the home tab once again, if you are not there yet. We have paragraph group. Then under paragraph group, we have spacing. When you see this icon with 2 arrows, one pointing up, another one pointing down, that is the icon which represents line spacing, the space in between lines. So we're going to click on it, and once you click, you're able to see the different spacings that we have. Okay, so we want to set it to 1.5. We can set it to 1.15, 1.0, any spacing we want. So let's set it to 1.5. You can see how much space I have. Then, of course, when we are talking about line space, we can as well either add space after each paragraph or remove. That one you can try it out in your free time. Then we are looking at adding comments. Just like you can write a comment on a piece of paper. For example, you go to somebody's office, or you, for example, if you hand in a coursework to me, then I find that there's something I want to say on paper. Maybe you copied from so and so. Or please go and do this and this using a pen on paper. Similarly, we can as well comment in a Word, in a document electronically. For example, I have this word which says that when you click, okay, I want it to be, what's the opposite? Let me see another word for clicking. Let me first find out. Okay, I'm going to say when you connect online. So I want this word click, I want to comment it. So to add comments, select the text. It could be a paragraph, it could be just one word, it could be anything. So I'll right click on it. You can either right click on the text, or if you don't right click, you can as well come to the references tab. Not references, it is review tab. Okay, you can come to the review tab and look out for comment. Either way, it takes us the same. destination. So for my case, let me use the review tab on the ribbon and then click on new comment after selecting my text. So I can type anything the way I would write it on the paper. Please replace this with maybe, which word did I want to type? I'm forgetting what I want to type here. Okay, maybe when you connect online. Okay, so as simple as that, I can put as many comments as I want in my document. So when somebody is reading this document, for example, I gave you a task to do online, you are going to type, after typing you send, then I can as well mark or comment using comments. That's how so you will see that the comments will be on the right hand side of the document. As many as I want, I can always type them and put them there in the document. Now that we are done looking at comments, let's look at page numbers. With page numbers, I want us to have multiple page numbers, okay? Multiple numbering formats in the same document. That's for page 1, we're going to have no page number. Why? Just like you always see books or pamphlets or anything, textbooks. In most cases, the first page, anyway, let's have it there, let's have it, okay? So from page 1 to 6, let's have page numbers. But of course, you can choose not to put if you don't want to have page numbers on the first page. So we have 1 to 6 Roman numeral, 7 to 12 ABC, 13 to the end, no page number.
Excuse me, sir.
Can somebody mute?
No, so I was saying, I didn't quite understand. I didn't quite understand the part of comments.
Please don't just speak before you are allowed to speak. First, raise up your hand and speak, okay? You are interrupting other people. Then secondly, I'm recording this video. So in the interest of time, I think some of the things I'll ask members to review the video recordings in the interest of time. But comments, anyway, let me repeat. I said that for us to insert comments, for example, I want to insert this text here, this paragraph, I want to comment it. So I'll select the paragraph up to where it ends. I can just select just a single piece of text, just a single word, or a full paragraph, or even a full document. Then after selecting the text that I want to comment, I said you can either right click and then click and select a new comment, or I also said you can go to the review tab and look out for new comment. Since previously I used the ribbon to select new comment, this time around let me right click and select new comment. So once you get a screen similar to what you are seeing on mine, okay, you just type. So this is comment number 2 in the document. Maybe I want to like, please, this doesn't make much sense. Can you correct it? Okay. As simple as that, that's how we insert comments in the document. You can insert as many as you want. So please, members, try it out and see how it works. So in case I want, for example, I want to post this document, but I want to remove, in case I want to remove a comment, just right click on the comment and select delete comment. That's how we delete comments in the document. And we already saw how to add comments. So the user, the account name I'm using for on this comment is called user. Okay. For example, if the account was called Joel, where I'm logged in, it will be showing the name Joel. Meaning when I'm reading the document, I'll be able to know who commented in the document, okay? I'm able to see the author who commented in the document based on the credentials on the system or on the computer you are using. Then moving on, we are looking at the next item on the menu is adding page numbers. For us to add page numbers, first of all, we have our document. So to do what we are going to do, we need first of all to break our document into what we call sections, so that each section has a different format, okay, of numbering. So what we are going to do, we want from page number 1 to page number 6 to have one section, then 7 to 12 to have another section, then 13 to the end to have a third section. However, let's start by inserting page numbers, okay? Inserting page numbers, I said we got to insert. Once you get to insert, then you click on page numbers on the extreme right under header and footer section. Alternatively, if you don't want to use this approach, you can as well either double click in the header section of the document or in the footer section of the document. Okay, so if I double click in the header, I think this time around I want to have my page numbers in the footer. So let me go to the footer. Yes, here I am at the footer. So once I say page number, once you double click in the footer or header, you get another tab on the ribbon which is called the design. So this tab allows us as well to insert page numbers. We have the option for page numbers at the left-hand side of the document, of the ribbon. Okay. Remember, I always tell people that there are so many ways of killing a rat. So let me use the option for using the design tab when I activate the header and the footer. So I will say insert. So I'll click on page number. Then I want to have my page number. Where do I want to have the page number positioned? I want to have this page number positioned at the bottom of the page. Okay. Then in the center, that's why I'm selecting option number 2, plain number 2. Of course, you can select any option you want based on where you want to position your page numbers. Okay, so once I click on it, you can see the document now has page numbers up to the end. However, it has the default numbering format, which I want to change. Therefore, I want to start breaking my document into sections so that I have different numbering formats. Now, if I may go back to my headers and footers again, I want you members to observe this, okay? The headers and footers are here indicated. This is the footer of page 1. Footer means the bottom portion of the document where we don't type while typing in the body. Then the header means the topmost area where we don't type while typing in the body. So it's reading footer and then header. That's what I have on my screen. Okay. Now I'm going to insert sections in my document. So to insert sections, I want page 6. Is it page 6? Yes. I want page 6 to be the last page for section 1. So this is page 6. I want section 1 to end here. okay, where it ends. So I'm going to put my cursor after the last text on page 6. Then I'll go to the layout tab. Is it layout? Yes. I'll go to the layout tab. And then on the layout tab, we have page setup group. On page setup group here, where we are right now, I have breaks. So I'm interested in inserting or creating. I want to break my document into 2 pieces. So I have page breaks, which is not my concern. And then I have section breaks, which is my concern for now. So I want, remember my cursor is here, okay, at the end. So I want the section to start on the next page from where the cursor is. Meaning I could even put my cursor here where you are seeing it right now, okay? And that means that the text from where the cursor is downwards will be forced to go to the next page, okay? That's what will happen. So it doesn't matter where you put your cursor. As long as it's where you put your cursor, that's where the section will start. But for my case, I want it to start here. Okay, actually, let me put it here. Okay, just after the word, before the word, you can collapse parts. So I'll go to layout once again, then it breaks and say next page. So you can collapse parts as being forced to go to the next page. Now, I'm going to activate the header and footer once again and see. Okay, so once I double click the header and footer, you can see that section 1, page 6. Remember, I just had the footer and then header. Right now it's reading footer, section 1, header, section 2. Now I'm going to do the same for creating the third section, that is from page 12 onwards. Is it page 12, 13? Let me check. From page 13. So let me navigate to page 13 and do the same. Now, this time around, because that it means that page section 2 ends on page 12. That's what it means. That's what it implies. It ends on page 12, section 2. So that's the, if you are to review what we have just done, we put our cursor somewhere on the same page. However, this time around, I want us to have the section start on the same page. Okay? At the beginning, where the first text is just before the first text on my page. So I've put my cursor just before the first letter. We shall again go back to the layout tab. Once we get there, we shall again select breaks. Now, which breaks? Are they page breaks? Of course, no. We want section breaks. So once we get section breaks, this time around, I want to select continuous. With the continuous, they are telling us that insert a section break and start the new section on the same page. I think you can now tell the difference between the next page and continuous. So let's click on continuous. If we are to activate the headers and footers again, you can see I have section 2 on top, then section 3 down. Now that we are done breaking our document into sections, the remaining step is to format our page numbers. Let's go to the beginning of the document. We have section 1, which starts from page 1 to 6. There we are. For my case, I'm on page 3. You can be anywhere within the same section between page 1 and page 6. For my case, I have chosen to go to page 3, as long as you have your footer and header activated. Okay. So I'm going to select this page, this number here, number 3. You can select if you're on page 1, select 1. If you're on page 2, select 2. If you're on page 3, select 3, whichever page you are, as long as you're in the same section. So after selecting that page, let's go to page number again, the way we inserted page numbers. Okay. So I'm going to use the design tab. For your case, you can, if you didn't activate the header, you can just go straight to insert. For my case, I have the header and the footer active already. So since it's active, therefore the design tab comes, and this design tab comes with, among other options, we have the page numbers. So let's click on page numbers. This time around, remember previously we just went to bottom of page and then selected the option we wanted. This time around, we won't choose, or we won't select that option. Therefore, let's go to the second last option. Since we already have the page numbers, all we need is to format them. Okay, so let's select, or let's click on format page numbers. Once you click on format page numbers, we have number formats. On this format page number dialog box, we have number format. So what we shall do, we shall change the number format. We have this arrow on the right hand side. So we shall click in this arrow, ladies and gentlemen. After clicking in the arrow, page 1 to 6, which format do we need? Of course, we need Roman numeral 1, 2, 3. There are other formats such as even capitals, but we want this one here, Roman numeral lowercase. Select it. After selecting it, we want this page number start at Roman 1. So click on start at and ensure that 1 is set. If it is not set, we have these arrows, these 2 arrows pointing up and down. You can use them to set it to the number you want. After setting the numbers we want, the next step is to click OK. Now you can see page 1, Roman numeral 1. If I may scroll, page 2, I expect you to have Roman numeral. Oh, there's a, yes, page Roman numeral 2. Page 3, Roman numeral 3, and so on. Okay? As simple as that. So I guess we are now on the same page at this level. Section 1 is sorted. Any page in section 1 is having Roman numerals, just like you can see. Then let's go to section 2, which starts on page 7. Section 2, yes, we have page 7 here. We want to format it again. So we're going to do the same steps. We went through, select it. After selecting it, since I have my head and footer active once again, it comes with this design tab, which design tab has a page number option. Click on page number, select format, go to number format, set the format you want. I want to start at A. Then click OK. So you can say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I have ABC. For example, if you find that you are working out a document, which document has what you call preliminary pages. For example, pages which are introducing what you are writing about, for example, abstract, for example, maybe acknowledgements, for example, dedication, for example, executive summary, etc. Those are called preliminary pages, and you might have interest in naming them differently. Then you find maybe you have also the body and maybe the annexures or the appendices. So I want the appendices to be named or to be numbered differently. So the next step, we want to work on the third section, which is having 1, 2, 3 format. Since we are done with numbering these first 2 sections, let's go to the third section and number them. So this is the next section, which is, I think it's now having section, it's section 3, just like you can see here. This way it starts. So we are selecting once again. After selecting, we go to page numbers once again and select format. After selecting format, we go to, I think it's already selected, 1, 2, 3 format. In case it's not the one that is selected here, 1, 2, 3, click in the arrow, pick it up, okay? Then I can, of course, tell it, for example, like I had Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Assuming I want this one to continue at 7, from Roman numeral 6 to number 7, of course, I just go and set the number you want. You can set any number to which you want the numbering to start. That's in case you want to continue from the previous numbering, okay? So if I want to continue from the previous section, I just click here. If I want to start at a specific number, I click here on start at, and then I set the specific number that I need. So after setting the number I want, just click OK. You can see the number has already been set. As simple as that. Then the next item on our menu, actually let's also look at inserting headers and footers. The header refers to the information on top of every page. Okay? For example, I have this page here, this space here. I want to type some things which I want to repeat on each and every page. Whereas the footer refers to the information you type at the bottom of each and every page. You type it once, but it appears on all the pages of either the entire document or the selected sections in the document. So for us to insert header and footers, we can either double click in the headers or footer section and type the information you want. Remember, there are so many ways of doing something, okay? You can as well just go to insert on the home tab, on the ribbon, then look out for headers and footers. So if I want to insert a footer, I'll select footer. Then choose from the options given based on where you want to position your text. For example, I want it to be there. Okay. However, for my case, I'm not going to allow it. So let me undo. I want to maintain my numbering. Of course, I can maintain my numbering when the footers are also there. It's possible. Okay. So now that we are done looking at headers and footers as well, let's move on to mix of landscape and portrait pages. So for us to have portrait pages and landscape pages in the same document, first of all, why do we need them in the document? We need headers and footers. Sorry, we need landscape and portrait in certain circumstances or situations. which are these ones. By default, just get two pieces of paper. One of those 2 pieces of paper, put them on table the normal way we put them while we're going to write. Okay, when you're going to write on that piece of paper, how do you position it? Put it on the table facing the normal way we use it. And then another paper, put it just after that piece of paper. Okay? Then twist it so that the wider margin is appearing on top. Okay, so you find that the default way of the default orientation is portrait, whereas landscape is also available. Now you find that with landscape, imagine you have a table with so many columns, or you have an illustration which is quite huge, okay, quite large. You find that chances are high that it may not fit on the page, on the first page, especially a table, because of the width. Yet the paper is not so wide to that extent. So landscape allows us to create more space, okay, in terms of the width. So in terms of the width, we're able to have more space on the page, therefore it can accommodate something big. That's why we need to have portrait and landscape in the same document sometimes. So now let's get started and work it out. For us to, by the way, I'm going to remove these comments. Allow me remove the comments so that members are able to see what I'm trying to talk about. So for us to remove comments, of course, we go to the comment we want to remove, right click on it, then select delete comment. For your case, you may not need to delete it, but I feel some people might be confused between the comments and then the comment space, the comment section, and then the orientation I'm talking about. For your case, maintain them because you'll be able to see. But for purposes of other members finding it easier to understand what I'm talking about, I've chosen to remove the comments. Okay, I guess members are able to see my screen. Now, I'm going to change I want page 3. Page 3 to have landscape orientation. So what I will do, I'll go to that specific page. I think this is the page. This is page 4. Okay, let me go one step up. Yes, I want this page here to have landscape orientation. What do I do? First of all, for me to do that, I'll select the text to which I want to change the orientation. If it was a table, if it was an illustration, I would select it as well. Okay, so for my case, I want to select this text up to, let me select up to here. So what will happen is this text will be forced to be on a separate page. Okay, while all other texts are somewhere on the normal orientation, this will be on a separate page and then have a different orientation. So we shall go to do that. We shall go to the layout tab on the ribbon. Once we get the layout tab on the ribbon, ladies and gentlemen, we shall click on the first option on the left-hand side, which says margins. Of course, some people were expecting that we are going to click on orientations. No. Okay, so we select the first option, which says margins. So under margins, we have a drop-down menu that pops up. So we shall select custom margins, which is the last option, that text at the bottom of that menu. So after getting to custom margins, click on custom margins. And then select, once you get there, okay, this page setup dialog box shows up. Okay, here we are on this dialog box. So we are initiating a dialogue with this system by telling it what we want to do. So we are going to click under orientation. I guess you're able to see orientation on the screen. Okay, here it is, orientation, it's here. Now, which orientation are we interested in? We are in, of course, the default one is portrait, which is selected in the entire document. However, we want landscape. Now, if we want landscape, where do we want to apply the landscape? Apply to at the bottom. We want it applied to, is it the entire document, the way it has been? Where do we want to apply it? So we want to apply this orientation to selected text. By the way, even when it was an illustration, you still select selected text. That's the option you select. Even when it's a table, it's a picture, it is something, okay? In this case, you select selected text. If I want, for example, if I have the way I've put sections, if I want the entire section, that means I'll go for selected sections. Okay? So I can apply to either a section, the selected objects on the screen, or the entire document. So I have opted to go for selected text. Once I click on OK, I will expect that, let me click on OK. Yes, I've clicked on OK. Now, what do you observe? Let me go to this page. Let me first go to page 2. When you look at my page 2, let me put on 100% zoom. When you look at page 2, you can see the way I told you people to put your papers on table, how it looks like. Okay? Remember, I told you to put two pieces of paper on the table. So you realize that these 2 pages are looking exactly the way your two pieces of paper look like. One is in portrait, another one is in landscape. Okay? So when I go down to page 4, you will see the same thing. Okay? Page 3 is landscape, page 4 is portrait. I can go and select another page in the same document, I do the same thing. Maybe I can go to page 6, I do the same thing in case there's something that requires that page to be on a landscape orientation. I can go to page 10, I do the same thing, page 15, etc. As simple as that. Then the next item on the main, I don't know if there are people I don't know if there are people with challenges on this. If you have a challenge, please raise up your hand. I'll be able to allow you speak. I only hate people that speak without permission, but if you have a challenge and you want to say something, raise up your hand. I'll allow you to speak. So we move on. Then the next item is asking us to automatic table of contents. So let me give members time, like about 2 minutes once again, like I did before. I know there are those that are still fidgeting, but are fearing to speak. So please, if you are still doing, you have 2 minutes to work it out, then we shall continue in 2 minutes time. The next step is creating an automatic table of contents. So for us to create an automatic table of contents, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is first of all identify some headings in the document. What we are going to do to have some headings, let's go to this document at the beginning, where you are seeing the first text, which is reading video provides a powerful tool to help prove your point. Let's put our cursor after the word point. After doing so, press enter. Okay, so that's going to be our heading number 1. Select it, make it bold. Then let's select another heading once again, maybe the last one, the last paragraph, the second last paragraph, which says to make your document look professionally produced. Let's put our cursor after the word produced. Press enter again. Select the text, make it bold. So that's our next heading. Let's move on again to the second page. Let's select this heading, which says, with this paragraph, which says, themes and styles also help you keep your document coordinated. Themes and styles also help keep your document coordinated. Press enter. Select it, make it bold. That's our next heading. Let's move to the next page. Let's move to this page here, which says, save time in Word with new buttons that show up when you need them. Put your cursor there, do the same thing, press enter, make it a heading, make it bold. Let's select this one as well, themes, this third paragraph on the same page, make it a heading, make it bold. So in other words, keep selecting different titles in the heading, do the same thing, make as many as you can. Make as many as you can until you are done. You can pick like 1 on a page, do it out, move to the next page, do the same thing. You can pick like 2 on another page, 2, 3, 1, anything you want. Let's try to work it out very fast in the interest of time. But I want at least on each page, not, okay, you can even, since we have 20, how many pages do we have? 35. You may not need to select all the pages, but I want in each section, at least you have like 10 headings on different pages in each section. The next step after identifying the headings that we want to include in our table of contents is to select those headings and give them heading levels. Okay. So let's select the headings and then give them heading levels. How do you select the headings? The normal we select text. So for example, I want this one here. I'll select it. After selecting it, I'll go to references. Then after references, I'll go to where we have the first group, which says table of contents. So I'll select add text. So after selecting add text, we give it a level. We can give it any level we want. I'll not dive into explaining these levels in the interest of time, but you can investigate about these levels, what they mean. So I'm going to select level 3. So I'll keep doing the same thing for all the headings I have in my document. That's if I want to apply the same level for all. So let me select the levels once again. Let me select the headings once again and apply the levels one by one. Now that we are done selecting the text that we want to appear in the table of contents, we shall go where we want the table of contents to be. So where should we put it is the question. Sometimes, of course, it's not always on the first page. If the first page is the cover page, then there are some pages, then it is somewhere at the beginning of the document, somewhere in the first few pages. So for my case, since I don't have those other pages, I'll put it at the top to be the first item on the document. So let me insert a new page on top by going to the insert tab. Then I want to insert a page. I can either insert a page break or a blank page. Of course, some people use the enter button and press so many times, but you can just do it in just one click. So for my case, let me use the page break option to insert a new page. So you can see that this text which was on page 1 has been forced to go to page 2. So I have a blank page on top. So I want my table of contents to be here. What I will do is to go to the references tab once again. References tab. Remember, previously we went to this section and said add text. This time around, we are going to say table of contents. The first option is the one we are going to select. After selecting the first option, we have already clicked. We have a number of, the drop down gives us different options. For example, we have automatic table 1, okay? Automatic table 2. Any of these two things, one of these two options will give us the same output. The only difference is the heading here, which this one says contents. On the first option, that's on the first option, which says automatic table 1. Then automatic table 2 will have the heading saying table of contents. So the difference is in the headings, that's table of contents and then contents. Okay, so let me go with option 2, which says table of contents, and click. You can see all the headings that I selected are appearing in the table of contents. That's how simple it is. So it saves out of your time and energy than when you're going to use a manual one. And more so at the end of it all, you have a smart table of contents. How about, for example, this one is on Roman numeral 1. How about if I add something, maybe add some, I type some text, I put some more illustrations, and they force that text to go on maybe page 9. Okay? How will I ensure that the table remains up to date and valid? So in such a case, what we do, whenever we make changes to the document, we update the table of contents. Now the question is, how do we update the table of contents? So meaning I'll first go work out my document format it, edit the way I want to do, change all what I want to change. Now it's always the last item to do. Updating is always the last item after modifying the document. So to update your table of contents, just go to it, right click on it, and then select update field. Once you update field, if you want to update page numbers only, in this case, you just select the default one, which is already selected, which says update page numbers only. And then click on OK. So it will automatically, all the pages, this other side, on the right-hand side, you will get updated automatically. If it was on page 2 and it has gone to page 7, for example, this one here, the last option here. So 7 will come here automatically. As simple as that. So I think we are ending here for today until we meet next week.